Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Kathleen Woods, and I am a library assistant at the Pacifica Sharp Park Library as part of the San Mateo County Libraries in the Bay Area of California, if you're from far away and aren't familiar. I'm excited to introduce author and certified hypnotherapist Jenny Bitner for Relax into Writing tonight. Before we begin, I also wanted to let you know that San Mateo County Libraries is hosting a wide array of programs for Mental Health Awareness Month in person and online. So please visit smcl.org/mental health to learn more. We are also excited to host author Joanna Ho on Wednesday, May 10th at 7 p.m. for a discussion of her mental health focused young adult novel, The Silence That Binds Us. As for tonight's logistics, your microphone will be turned off unless you choose to share later, but please feel free to use the chat with any questions. And for those who'd like to access live closed captions for this event, you can click on CC and then show subtitle. All right, and now I'm happy to welcome Jenny Bitner. Jenny Bitner's fiction and poetry have been published in Mississippi Review, The Fabulist, The Sun, Fence, Corium, 14 Hills, Mid-American Review, and Pank. Pine Press published a chapbook of her poetry entitled Mother. Her story, The Pamphleteer, was published in Best American Non-Required Reading. She earned an MFA in creative writing from the University of Virginia, and she is also a certified hypnotherapist. Her novel, Here is a Game We Could Play from Acre Books, is a bisexual love story with librarians and obsessive compulsive disorder. And I will be linking everyone to that book in our catalog shortly. She teaches trance writing classes, combining hypnosis and writing, and works with individuals overcoming writing blocks. Hypnosis is one of the ways she has improved her own anxiety disorder. You can find out more at jennybitner.com. Thank you, Jenny, and take it away.
Thank you so much, Kathleen. And I'm really happy to be here, happy that so many people have come. And I see that there's a few people from Pennsylvania, and my novel is set in Pennsylvania. So I'm going to be talking, first of all, just a little about my own history and struggles with mental health issues, and then leading you into a relaxing meditation to go into a place for writing inside of yourself where you can feel relaxed. So I've been a writing teacher for over 20 years, and I also work as a hypnotherapist, and I use those tools together. I sort of created my own classes, trance writing classes that combine Lancaster, PA is home. Great. Yeah, I'm from near Middletown. I saw that in the chat. That combine hypnosis and writing to help people write trance writing classes. So I became interested in hypnotherapy about 10 years ago when I was dealing with my own anxiety issues, and I just discovered hypnosis as a powerful tool to help me. And so I trained in it and use it now with other people. So, but I'd like just to talk for a second, like, why is writing important for mental health? There are over 200 studies that show that writing can help your mental and your physical health. It helps us to, get to release negative emotions, to recreate the narrative of our lives, to deal with anxiety, to find better coping tools. It really is quite a wonderful tool. It is a wonderful tool, and yet so many people like to write, but find different blocks around it. They can sort of have the inner critic come out and say like what that they're doing is not good enough, or they can procrastinate and not write, or they can set really big goals for themselves that they can't achieve. So I think that what I'd like to do today is to create some relaxation around writing, some feeling that writing is good in and of itself, just for your own mental and physical health, and you don't have to accomplish anything with your writing. Just writing is itself an accomplishment. And Kathleen just said about this being Mental Health Month, and I'm really so glad that the library is celebrating that, and all the places that are. Frankly, I feel like this should be Mental Health Year, because all that we've been through in the pandemic, I think that, yes, we had a lot of stress at the time, but there's also this stress as we're getting back to normal, whatever that is. We have so much that we're still needing to process. And of course, there's a lot of people, struggling, suffering out there. So I suffered for many years dealing with anxiety. I have anxiety issues, and I was eventually diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder, which is around poisoning and contamination. It wasn't until quite recently that I finally got sort of a handle on. I mean, I'd been in therapy, I had tried different things, and hypnosis, the training helped. But in the last 5 years, I really got a handle on dealing with that. And so it was a long struggle for me. And I used exposure and response prevention therapy, which is for OCD. But in the book that I wrote, here, and it's going to be backwards, here's a game we could play. The main character also has obsessive compulsive disorder. It's not really labeled that way because she doesn't really know the name for it, but she has a fear of contamination and a fear of poisoning. And as I was writing that book, I was dealing with my own OCD and used some of the traits of my own life. It's not a memoir, it is fiction, but some of the things that she dealt with in that book were from my own experience. I think that reading about other people and their mental health struggles can really help us. There's the term bibliotherapy. Bibliotherapy is receiving therapy through books. So when we read self-help books, and I do think also when we read novels, there is a therapeutic effect to them, and we can actually receive help just from reading other people's books, which makes part of being a writer such a wonderful thing, that we can actually reach out to other people and help them just through writing about our own experiences. So that when we write about what is happening with us, we can also transcend it in a way. I think that writing for me has been a refuge, a place in my life where I was able to express my own emotions, where I was able to deal with the anxiety that I was experiencing. And also just to deal with, my novel is about, it's a coming out bisexual story. And so, dealing with my own sexuality and processing many things in my life. But I want to give you, first of all, a very simple tool that is helpful just for calming ourselves before we write, or just if you're feeling anxious in general. And this is called the butterfly hug. And I learned about this when I was studying hypnosis. And it was created as a very simple tool. The story that I heard, which I think is true, is that it was created for dealing with people who were in trauma after natural disasters. And so people who did not have that many resources for like long-term therapy or other tools. But it uses the principle of bilateral stimulation. So bilateral stimulation is when we're stimulating both sides of our body, then we're stimulating both sides of our brain. And this can have a calming effect on us. So for example, you may have noticed that sometimes you take a walk and you feel better. Walking is a beautiful thing to do. And there are many reasons that it helps us feel better. It gets us out of our home environment, which has a lot of triggers. Of course, nature is good for us.
but also the very act of walking. When we're doing that, when we're moving that way with our body, and sort of even especially if we're like going like this and walking along, is a bilateral stimulation, which helps our brain process things. So you know, you have that idea like, I'm gonna walk and think about something. I'm gonna walk and get over my problem. And yes, it is an excellent tool for that. And that is because of that, the bilateral stimulation property. So this is, you don't need to walk for this. This is it's called the butterfly hug. And all you need to do is, I tend to cross your arms over your body. Let's see if you can see me fully. Crossing your arms over your body like this. If you want to do it, you can do it right here, if this feels good to you, right on your chest, or you can do it with your hands on your shoulders if that feels good to you. If for some reason, you know, you have arthritis in your arms or something, you can't put your arms up like this, you can also just put your hands on your knees. What you're going to do here is, look, see, I haven't even been breathing because I was a little nervous about talking to you. But now I'm breathing. Is go ahead and taking a deep breath. Just follow along with me and letting it out. And then go ahead, and this time I'm going to put my hands here. Put your hands where they feel good, there or there. And we're just going to very gently start tapping like that, either side. Tapping on one side and the other. And it's almost like you're giving yourself a hug, and also gently tapping yourself. And you just go ahead and do this until you feel that your anxiety has come down a bit. And if it helps you to say something gentle and calming to yourself while you're doing this, a wonderful thing to say is just, I am safe. Because when we get into anxiety, the thing somewhere in us, we feel that we're not safe. So if we can just say to ourselves, I am safe in this moment. For somebody, someone says for her, the tapping causes anxiety. Okay, well then, try another technique. Don't, if it's raising it, then don't do it. But then for those of you who it's helpful, and for me, it definitely is calming. At the end, just take a breath and relax. There you go. That's a very simple tool that you can use. It's called the butterfly hug. You can also find a video of someone explaining it online if you need reinforcement with that. So I'm going to lead you in an exercise, in a meditation to help you get into a relaxed state for writing. And in this, I'm going to lead you into a place inside that can be a wonderful place to start your writing from. As if you had inside of you the perfect place that was calm and peaceful where you could write. I think that in our society, we undervalue the importance of the imagination. So you might not in your life have the perfect place to write, but in your imagination, you can create a place that you feel happy and safe. Maybe it's a beautiful library, or maybe it's a beautiful meadow
where you can just lie down and write. So this is a simple meditation that I'm going to lead you on. I want you to get comfortable. I need a closet with no distractions. Someone said, yeah. Yeah, I often, some people go to a space with other people to write, like a library. Some people like that feeling of having other people around, and some people need no distractions at all. So go ahead and getting comfortable. We're going to go to a place. It might be a real place in the real world, or an imaginary place in your imagination, or a real place in your imagination. In any case, it feels real, and that is what matters. This is a place where you feel comfortable writing, where writing flows from you like water flowing down a strong waterfall. So go ahead and close your eyes. Obviously, only do this if you're in a place where you feel comfortable. Closing your eyes. Imagine there's a light coming and touching your head and bringing with it a wave of relaxation. As the light touches your head, you feel relaxed. As it goes down over your face, feeling relaxation going through your neck, down to your shoulders, down into your torso, down through your arms, in your throat. That wave of relaxation going down through your legs and your feet. And when it reaches your feet, imagine that your feet are growing into the ground, rooted there like the roots of a tree. And you feel the energy of the earth coming up into you. And I'm going to count to 3. And I want you to picture in your mind's eye a beautiful place where you feel safe and happy. It could be in nature, a beach, a forest, whatever is your beautiful, safe place. 1, 2, 3. Imagining yourself in a safe place. For each of you, it will be different. Maybe it's a beach or a meadow, a waterfall, any place you feel safe and connected and peaceful. Maybe it's just a room in your house or your own bed. And when you're in this place, imagine what you see here. Notice any sounds and scents. Notice any feelings or textures. And feel into your body being in this place. As you look around, you feel peaceful and notice the beauty around you. From this place, there is a door to your writing place. That door might be a real door, or it could be just a little hole in the earth, or a gateway inside of a door. I want you to go through the doorway into your writing place. And inside, imagine your writing place however you would like it to be. It could be a beautiful library or a desk with a view of the ocean, or surrounded by redwood trees. Wherever your inner self would most like to be to write. And go ahead and make it exactly how you want it to be. It's okay to have it just perfect for you. A spot of your own for your creativity. Your creativity is protected here. It's nurtured. There is no right way to write. Mistakes are allowed. This is just your place for writing. Your writing is special. And notice what you feel here and what you hear. And I want you to imagine that you're writing in this place. Go ahead and see yourself writing freely, your hand moving with a sense of pleasure, with a sense of calm. And maybe you're typing, or maybe you're handwriting, whatever feels best to you. And I want you to acknowledge that writing part of yourself. And I acknowledge that writing part of you. There's a part of you that loves to write. There's a part of you that takes joy in your creative process. There's a part of you figuring out your own answers through writing. Go ahead, breathing into your body here in the writing place. And I want you to remember a time when you wrote with ease and passion. And I don't care if you were 5 years old or if it was last week. Remember any time in your life when you felt excited about writing. And that younger person is part of you. You are still holding that excited part of you. And go ahead and let that part of you become stronger. It's okay to enjoy writing. There is no right way to write. And as you're writing in your special place, observing how you feel, allowing yourself to write with freedom. Take a moment And just breathe in your writing place. Remember what it looks like. If there's anything you need to change, just change it. It's easy. And I want you to think of one thing that you would like to write about. Just the first thing that comes to your mind. What would you really love to write about? In a moment, we're going to come back and have the joy of writing about that thing. So I want you to remembering this place as a place that you can always come back to, your special writing place. We're going to come back. 5, coming back. 4, 3, waking up with the urge to write about the thing that you would love to write about. And don't judge it. Whatever came to your mind is the perfect thing. 2, 1, coming back. And now I'm going to give you some time to just write. I'm going to give you 15 minutes to just write. If you have any questions in the chat that you want to put in during that time, feel free to put them in the chat. And go ahead and just take some time with that beautiful idea that came to you in your special place. Go ahead and write, and we'll have some time for sharing. Okay, finish up your writing, and we're going to come back and see who would like to share. Okay. Also, if anyone, if you of you gave me your email, if you'd like to find out about my upcoming meetups, I have a free monthly meetup where we do using hypnosis and dream work for creative writing. And also I have an upcoming class that I'm going to be teaching in May, which is Awakening Intuition, Finding Answers to Your Questions Through Automatic Writing, Self-Hypnosis, and Dream Work. And that will be a 4-week class. And basically, that's some of the tools from hypnosis, and also I've also studied dream work to access your own answers to questions in your life. So often we can feel confused about choices that we're making in our lives, or we're just sort of like, how do I know? How do I know what to do? How do I know what to do? I think that we have answers in our unconscious mind to those questions. And in this class, I will be teaching automatic writing and also how to work with your dreams to find what your unconscious is telling you. So Kathleen is going to give everyone the option to unmute and to start your video. So okay, Susan said she had a topic in mind and she was able to elaborate more than she anticipated. Great. Does anyone like to share either from your writing, or I know that this is like a group of people that you never met, and so if you don't want to share your writing, you could also just share what it was like in your writing place, in your imagination, and how that experience was, or how you felt there. Oh, somebody has their hand up.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't normally share this because I would say that like my writing is cringe, and like I do feel it's kind of cringe right now. But when I was writing it, I thought, I should share it. Like I was like, I should share this when I was writing it.
Great.
I'm just gonna turn off my video when I read it out.
Yeah, that's fine.
It says, I love the vines in the trees and little birds that make nests like upside down hats, picking just the perfect twigs in their beaks from over the land that stretches across my yard. This yard I call mine as I hold it inside of me for the little time I can rent this house made of wood, so unlike the cemented hard walls from my old homes. Here, air moves in and out slowly, like whispering whimsical secrets of town ladies and who the newest couple who can't help holding hands as they walk in the street are. I see all these perfect little acts that happen together to make this town so special, so alive, almost like the soft beats of my cat's chest when I hold her up to my face. And then I think of you and see you here and there, everywhere. And even though you're not here, I enjoy that pain because if you were here to add to my cup of joys, the love would be too much. The blood holding the brim of the cup would overflow and the cup would crack, and so would my heart.
Wow, that was beautiful, Tanya. I loved it. What a beautiful observer you are, and I loved the language and the sense of feeling. Thank you so much for sharing. That was great. A lot of wonderful comments on our writing. Did anyone else want to share or ask any questions? Are there any questions in the?
I have a question for us that is relevant to what you said in the beginning, that I would love to hear, and I'd love to know other people's thoughts too. Something you said, Jenny, when you began that really resonated with me, is something I've been thinking about a lot, is how little time or little value we put on imagination, right? Like just taking time to do imagining is not something we often do. And I found that imagining you guided us through in that meditation also made me, when I opened my eyes I'm in a library office with overhead fluorescent lighting, right? But instead I found myself just like seeing the hummingbird outside the window. Even when I came into the real world, I was like more aware. Anyway, the question though is, what other ways do you try to keep your imagination alive and active through the day today? And I love any other ideas we have too about practicing imagination or keeping imagination lively as being creatives and just people.
Yeah. Well, for me, I mean, I am very into my dreams, and I write down my dreams every night, and you know, am aware of them and interact with them. I'm teaching, for those of me who are interested in my meetup, the next meetup that I'm teaching, which is next Friday night, and that's a free event, is going to be on using your dreams as prompts. So using that as a writing prompt for your writing. I would also say, you know, some people don't remember their dreams, but there's a wonderful state, the hypnagogic state, and that is when you first wake up in the morning and you're in between waking and sleeping. So I would say, if there's anything in your life, you know, that you want fresh answers on, or you want to imagine differently, or, you know, you're like tumbling with something and you're just like, feel like, oh, I want a more imaginative way to think about this. It could be a story, or it could be a problem in your life. Seed that into the hypnagogic state. By seed that, I mean, like, when you're in that state, bring it to mind and just sort of imagine other ways that it could be, you know, imagine other ways that you could be in that situation, or just different ideas will come to you for different story ideas or poetry. It's a very rich period for imagining. So I would say that that would be a way to increase your imagination. There was also another question that was put into the chat, or someone wrote to me, which was like, do you write about your fears, and is writing about your fear a good starting point for writing? And I would say, like, you know, when I was I would say, like, I mean, OCD is not something like you totally ever like get over, but I'm much better with it now, and I don't really have active symptoms. But when I was feeling it a lot more, and a lot more in the anxiety, I would write about fear more. And I think that writing about fear is a good starting place just for clearing your mind, because you can write down your fears and have some degree of control over them just by listing them, just by writing them down. Just kind of be like, oh yeah, this is what I'm afraid of. And when it's outside of you on the paper, it's a little bit distancing. So I was trying to find the link for the class that I have coming up. So the class that I forgot to put the link in there for this class that's going to be starting May 18th, Awakening Intuition, Finding Answers to Your Questions Through Automatic Writing, Self-Hypnosis, and Dream Work. Oh, I did find the link, so I'll just put that in the chat too.
We can also send it in a follow-up email to everyone who's here as well. So we'll do both, so people have access to that if they'd like that. And we can, and I'll be sending out more information at the probably tomorrow as well for everyone who's here. So yay, thank you for that. That's great. Wonderful. And then unless anyone else has other questions or thoughts, I think we're coming to the end of our very peaceful and nurturing hour that we've spent together. So thank you all for being here. I know I found that very enriching, and now I'm just like gazing dreamily at the bumblebees of this tree outside here. So yeah, thank you so much, Jenny. Thanks for everyone for being here. Again, please check out our other events we have going on for Mental Health Awareness Month. Some of them are virtual, some of them are in person. So please take a look at that. You can see we have a blog post about them and a web page that has some events listed. And we would also appreciate it so much if you were able to let us know how you feel San Mateo County Libraries did with this program at smcl.org/rate this event, which I will link. I'm like dazed from it being so deeply meditated. You can check that out as well. I'll email you that link as well too for the Rate This event. But yeah, other than that, thanks so much, everyone. I hope you go on to a very relaxed and creative rest of your evenings and nights as well. And thanks especially to those who joined us from near and far.
Thank you so much, Kathleen, for having me. Thank you, everyone who came. And yeah, just keep with the writing and be gentle with yourself. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.